Good morning and welcome. Welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS with Bob Pace. I'm your host, and this makes another live stream today. I do two of them a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 times a week. And I've been doing this now for 23 months, almost 2 years. In October, it'll be my 23rd year. And that's a lot of time talking about CPS and bringing up all hurts that I have felt. I've been fighting them now for 15 years. And I am on here to help share you how to deal with CPS, how to work around CPS. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm a loving father and a husband. I have 43 years of marriage experience. I have 61 years of working experience and life skills. I've helped raise 6 children. And unfortunately, I too was a victim of CPS. The CPS I'm talking about is the government entity that was mandated by Congress in 1962 to social services to create a group of social workers to protect our children from neglect and abuse, and also do what's called family reunification when they need to break apart the family. The biggest problem that I see with CPS is you don't know whether you got a good one or a bad one. I would say 50% of all CPS entities have problems. I call them rogue, meaning that they're more interested in the money than they are about the family. They're supposed to protect their children, but right now they're abusing their family, alienating our kids, trafficking our kids. Both of those are illegal. And I'm here to help you weed through it, help you see for it. I have regular people that come in here. So, with that being said, it's a warm welcome, and I know how hard it is for y'all out there. There's some housekeeping things I want to talk about is how they interact with this live stream. You can do emojis such as smiley faces or hearts or thumbs up. You can also send me stars. Please check the follow button if you want to follow me. And if you want to be notified when I'm live, check the notification. Now, I'm on once in the morning and once at night. During the weekdays, it's 10 a.m. in the morning. And then on the weekends, it's 8 a.m. in the morning. Then on the evening, my live streams, um, my night one, it starts at 7 p.m. Typically, I'm on at 7 p.m. But there are times that sometimes that I have family commitments and I can't attend it, so I have to move the schedule, or maybe there's other room scenes. Okay. Um, the message I have, or the banner I have up there, is another way you can interact in this live stream is to text me a message. It can be in the form of a question or a comment about CPS, the Child Protection System. It's found in every county, in every state, and worldwide. And there's so many different names for the Child Protection System. It's hard to list them all. Department of Children and Family Services, Department of Children's Services, the Cabinet, Child Protection Services. So I just call everything CPS, which stands for short, the Child Protection System. Every county has a system to protect our children from neglect and abuse and to do family reunification. Not only are they supposed to do family reunification since they're part of social service, they're supposed to provide basic aid like food and shelter and education and transportation and medical, all those. And um, and let me see what else. Oh, get you a job too. It's part of social services. The child protection system is a part of social services. And whatever name it has, that's the entity you're dealing with. And it varies from county to county, state to state, and even worldwide. Now, I am mentioned worldwide because I have right now 23 countries, including the US, that have either text on the show, a message, or called on the show. Either or. And it's about 2,700 people. 2,700 people have done so to date. That's a lot of people. And they all have something in common, including myself. We encountered a rogue CPS entity that is not doing family reunification, that is not treating the parents fairly, that's abusing our children. And then not only that, they're trafficking our children and alienate our children from the parents. Those are so wrong. And I'm sorry to say that you don't know until you get involved what you have. And one of the things is I've come up with 5 rules that you need to follow if you want your children back. The first one, the most important one, is hire an attorney. Now you probably say, "Well, I got an attorney. The CPS assigned me one." Well, what they did is like signing you a caseworker that's an attorney. What they did is they have a pool of attorneys to get fresh out of law school and they hire them. And that's how they provide. They're hoping you would take what's called a court appointed attorney or a public defender because that way they can manipulate you and do anything they want because these public defenders don't have any integrity and they don't ruffle any feathers, so they won't really fight your case. And they've been loaded down so much with 30 to 100 cases, they don't have time to meet outside of court. They'll meet you like outside the courtroom in the hallway for a short time, but most time they'll see you inside if you're allowed to get in the courtroom. Some counties don't allow the parents to be in the courtroom, which I think is wrong. There's lots of things I think is wrong. But you need to get that attorney, and I can talk more about that in a bit, but that's my rule number 1. Because you're dealing with an entity that is hard to navigate. Fighting CPS is like doing open heart surgery. You need a professional trained and educated in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law that can help you with your case. Those are the 3 areas. Now, things start off pretty slow right now till our regulars come in here and new people come in here, but that's okay. So when you text me that message, either in a question or comment about CPS, please state your first name, your city or county, and your state. And if you're one from those countries outside of the United States, put your country because it's important. I know that too. Now, I've had Indonesia and Bangladesh and India call in or text in, and then I've had up in the Middle East, I've had Saudi Arabia and Libya. Then over to the continent of Africa, I've had Liberia, Sudan, Republic of Congo, Rwanda, and Mozambique, and lastly, the provinces of South Africa. And they have called. I've had Leica, who you'll meet on here, is from South Africa, and she's called in numerous times. So if you listen to this and you're in another country, make sure you dial 01 if you're calling my number, which I'll be putting up there shortly. It's very, very important that you dial the 01, which is a country code. Whew, boy. Sometimes it's a long day for me, and I apologize. Um, if I think for a moment or put my head down because I'm reading my notes down before me. But I'm trying to look straight in the camera, and hopefully I'm speaking loud enough that you can hear me. When people do call in, I have to really turn the volume up high so they can be heard. It is sometimes a hindrance in there. But anyway, um, you're dealing with an entity that is like you've heard the story Alice in Wonderland. Well, CPS is a lot like Alice in Wonderland. You saw the rabbit hole, you fell in, and you met the Chester cat. That's how the story goes. Alice did. But the Chester cat kept her room to room to room, and that's what's going to happen if you don't have an attorney that navigates you through CPS. You end up going nowhere and be very confused. Now, if um, there we go. That's what I'm trying to get to next. Um, is that if you want to be a guest on my live stream, I'd love you to be a guest. And by the way, the times I give you are my times on the West Coast of California. It's called Pacific Standard Time. There's Mountain Time 1 hour ahead, Central Time 2 hours ahead, East Coast Time 3 hours ahead. Then there's United Kingdom Time, which is 8 hours ahead. There's Europe Time, which is 9 hours, and Africa Time, which is 9 hours. So I give you the times I always give you to in my time zone in Pacific Standard Time. So to be a guest, all you have to do is email me and I'll set you up. My email is simple. It's bobp@vincentwdavis.com. No dot between Bob P. It's just bobp@vincentwdavis.com. And I'll gladly return your question and so forth on that. So to be this guest, you pick one of my 14 shows. Like, I want to be in Bob's Sunday morning show, or Bob's Saturday night show, or Bob's Friday morning show, or Wednesday morning, or Monday night. You just pick AM or PM, and you pick one day of the week. It's really simple. And once you send me that email and you want to be on all as many times you want, you can. I can take up to 10 of you at excuse me, 9 of you at a time. With me, it makes 10. So we can have a max of 10 people live. So what will happen is that I'll get your email, and then what I do is I forward it on to Grace, my show producer, who will send you a link to get on StreamYard. That's the software application I use. It uses YouTube to transmit the video in the format you see before you. It's a format with places to text me messages and me to place banners and so forth. So, you know, being in is nice because on the phone, I can only talk to one person at a time. So that limits you. But on the guest, it can be 9 of you. And you want to be on every night of the week, that's fine. That's 14 shows I'll do. But I do care. And the sad part about it is that you're going to deal with any that lies and cheats and hurts. There's so many horrible stories you hear about. So that's easy. The rules are simple. There's no, you have to be courteous to one another. I want you all in here to understand this is not a political room. And I try not to take sides on any particular issue. This is about children and families. This is about juvenile law, family law, and dependency law, not criminal law. Now, I do talk about another form of service that social services has, which is called Adult Protection System, APS. That's where they help out children that may have become adults when they turn 18. They either are sent on their own, but if they have special needs, they'll be transferred to adult protection services and they'll take care of their special needs until they get adopted or get someone to be guardianship of them. So it's as simple as that. The Adult Protection Service is similar to CPS because it deals with the caring and the welfare of special needs children and older adults that may be in a caregiver's home and they're being treated badly, or they may be in a nursing home, or where the case may be. I learned a lot about. Um, let me go back to the room and see if we got any more people. I don't see anybody talking right now, so that's okay. That's okay. Now, I do want to put my phone number up, and that way you can call in to my private business number. Now, I use Vonage, which is streaming on the internet. It's a telephone application with my own private work number. It's 626-698-0990. So it is on, you can call in. I have my private number with my carrier, but it has a different ring. That has a different ring. So my phone is live, and I love to see. Okay. Um, Now, there's another number you're probably asking about, and that's my office number. That's 888-888-6582. You don't need to call there to get to me. I have my own personal number listed, 626-698-0990. The office is where you get in touch with my attorney, Mr. Davis. Vincent W. Davis has been practicing law for 39 years, and he's fought getting back our children for 39 years. He is trained, educated, and licensed in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. He also was once a foster youth himself, so he knows about the foster system. He is also a trial attorney. That means he can fight in courts that have jury trials. CPS isn't set up that way. They should be. That's my recommendation. But um, so there's my number. Okay. Now, Vincent Davis is also, he can do a civil lawsuit, which is really important for some of you that want to sue um, CPS. He's not afraid to do so, especially if they committed perjury. They committed perjury, in my case, the social worker did. Unfortunately, I spent all my money hiring Mr. Davis to fight to have my kids returned and did not have enough money to file a lawsuit. I can still do so. I have the paperwork. It's well drafted, well written, and I'd like to do that. But suing somebody is not ever going to resolve the problem. Some people do it out of hate, and I don't want to. I don't hate any of the people that I have involved with, and I'm just disgusted. It isn't word hate. It's disgusted because people lie and they lie and they more lie. CPS is one of the greatest liars I've ever known. And as I mentioned, it's like Alice in Wonderland. You meet the Cheshire Cat, you go from room to room, and you don't know what is going on or what's being said. So you have a terrible time with CPSs. I don't wish it on anybody. But keep in mind, you can fight CPS. You have to come to this room and ask me the scenario, and I'll try the best to advise you what to do. Won't cost you anything. All it does is cost you an hour of your time. If you want to come in twice a day, then it's 2 hours of your time. And I've helped out so many people find an attorney, fight their case. I had medical trafficking, and the parents never lost their daughter. And it's great because they're able to turn around a civil lawsuit against the people that were insisting that their daughter needed all this treatment. Um, Let me see here through my notes here. Now, there's 5 rules that I've come up with. One is you need to get a good, decent attorney. Do not use the court-appointed attorney. They're too busy. They have a caseload of 30 to 100 clients. They work for CPS. They're paid by CPS, and they're cahoots with the judge and the court. See, the judge has a big responsibility in your CPS case. Your whole life depends on the judge doing the right thing. He's supposed to be a referee, and the plaintiff attorneys for CPS are supposed to present a case before the court, and you and your attorney are supposed to counter with your case. And then the judge makes the decision. it should be a trial by jury, but somehow they've not done it yet. I'm still pushing for a trial by jury. And a trial by jury be nice because that way you make sure you're fair. But right now you have to deal with it. And if you have to use a court appointed attorney, remember these four things with a court appointed attorney. You want to impress upon the court appointed attorney who can impress upon the court that you're not guilty. If you're not guilty, you're not guilty. You don't need to admit something you didn't do. Now, if you did do something, it's best that you keep it private because if you let them know, it's just going to add ammunition to the case because your court appointed attorney will talk to the plaintiff attorney. So you got to be careful. Best thing to do is say you're not guilty. And make sure your attorney says that to the court. Secondary, you got to press upon the attorney that you will follow a court order issued. Oh, before doing that, the second thing is family reunification. You need to stress that you want reunification. Tell your court appointed attorney, I want reunification. So he can tell the judge. You see, in a courtroom, the plaintiff, the defendants talk through attorneys. Attorneys will present the case and documents and witnesses. And so there'll be exchange there. But you really want to impress upon the judge not only that you're not guilty, two, you will follow you'll do the family reunification. You want that. You want to have family reunification. Don't lose it. If they do your termination of parental rights, you need to file an appeal right away. Don't wait. There's statute of limitations on a lot of things. Okay. So this court appointed attorney, after you establish that you want family reunification, you want your child back, you need to establish with the court appointed attorney that you'll follow whatever the judge decides. His court orders is what you need to follow. CPS is going to suggest a lot of things, but not everything is court ordered. So you got to be careful between what is court ordered and what is not court ordered. You got to be careful there. And I want to thank the thumbs up from Wes Bradley. Thank you very much, Wes Bradley. And lastly, you want to say you want as much visitation as you can, whether it's by a supervised or unsupervised, whether it's Zoom or not Zoom. You want as much visitation. So those four things: you're not guilty, you want family reunification, and you want to follow what the judge orders. And lastly, you want as much visitations as you can. So those are four things you're going to work with when you're using a court appointed attorney. Now, if you have a real attorney you hired, you got to make sure he checks out. A lot of people rush into it and find they wasted their money. You got to make sure He's schooled and licensed in juvenile law, dependency law, and family law. A trial attorney or a criminal attorney or a divorce attorney or a real estate attorney are not going to help you. You got to get the real thing. Now we're halfway through the show here, the live stream. I've yet to have any regulars in my room text me a message, or I have no phone call. Again, my number is live 626-698-0990. Now, if you call the 888-6582, you reach the law firm of Vincent Davis. There you can check on the live screen schedule. You can ask who has a live screen, and then you can follow them, watch it. Also, when you talk to reception, make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And if you want to hire Vincent Davis or talk to him, you can schedule an appointment there. Make sure when you see Mr. Davis that you mention that Bob Pace sent you. So that's really, really important. Now, um, hold on one second. I want to look at something on the internet. Today is a really tough day. I have a lot of issues on Friday I need to deal with, a court matter and some other legal matters. So it's always a hectic day there. But I want to help you. In order for me to help you, you need to ask away. You need to get me some things to work on. A comment, be on my guest on my live stream. Um, text me a message. It can be either a question or a comment. Now, I didn't mention something called APS, Adult Protection System. That's similar to CPS, but that deals with adults. When a child turns 18, they're considered a young adult and they fall underneath the adult protection system if they've not been adopted or put into foster care and there are special needs. Only if there's special needs. They're not special needs. They're supposed to return to society and they go home to their mom or dad or to whoever their parents were or get themselves their own apartment, their own job, or whatever. But when you do that, this is a life skill to remember. As a foster child, you're going to have a record. So you need to expunge the record when you become an adult. You need to get an attorney involved and have your record clean because if you keep the CPS case on you, when you grow up and have children, they'll come back to haunt you. They'll come after your children. I'm sad to say, but it's true. I've talked to so many people in here that once were in foster care, then they grew up and had children, and then they have problems. They're back in foster care. Sure enough, what they did as a 3 or 4 or 5 year old counts. So I'm trying to tell you that Now, the hardest thing you can do as a youth is still be involved in the system. There's a story. Daniel Watt from Georgia had lost her son. Her son was um, caught up in CPS until he was 19. She finally got him back. She wanted to formally adopt him because he needs to be in custody, be taken care of. She adopted her brother. I mean, she has um, um, taken care of her brother who's special needs, and now she added her son. So she has two people with special needs she's taking care of. Remarkable woman. Now, Faye Manley um, from Kentucky, Richmond, Kentucky. There's another woman that was abused as a child and was in and out foster care through her youth, and then later in life they came to haunt her. She should have had her case expunged, but she didn't know. And most kids don't know about that. Most kids don't even know what CPS is, let alone how to be expunged or something there. But um, let me double check here. I don't see why my line's not ringing. Okay. Whoa, where did we go? There they are. All right. Um, so that that expunging your record as a child is the most important thing. Also, if you're found not guilty and you not plead not guilty, you should have your expunged record from CPS. Otherwise, they'll keep you on a register for abusing children. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful of your record because it'll harm you in your credit, renting a home, buying a home, um, getting a loan for your car, even hired by a job. If you have bad marks on your credit, it hurts you in a lot of ways. I mean, we're all fighting for work. This is another life skill. You got to make sure your credit's okay and you got to improve on it. So you got to make sure anything bad or derogatory on your record is cleared up. Now, I'm throwing in some life skills that relate to CPS. So there's another one too that just thought occurred to me is money to get an attorney. A lot of you don't realize that you can get legal insurance. I didn't, but you can contact major insurance companies and pay a premium so much per month. One quote I got was a dollar a day. A dollar a day. That's 365 years for full legal coverage. And that's so if you need a $50,000 retainer, it's there. If you need a $500 attorney, it's there. So I really want to emphasize that legal insurance is something you can shop around. There's ARG, Allstate, MetLife. There's a lot of insurance companies that do it. Your employer may have legal insurance. You look into there at your employment. But if you have legal insurance, it works like all your other insurance, like car insurance, or household insurance, pet insurance. If you are injured, they'll cover the expenses. There may be a deductible. I don't know. I haven't got that far. And right now, 365 year is hard because I got my life insurance premium, I got my car insurance premium. Um, the car's too old for insurance repair bill. The house, I got house insurance. Um, it all adds up. It all adds up. It all adds up. But if you're going to use a court appointed attorney, you got to do those four things. Don't forget that. Now, to second thing I have is documentation, and that is so important. You need to have a ring binder, something about 6 inches thick, a 3 ring binder, and that's where you're going to hole punch all your paperwork and put it in there. And the one thing is you want to organize tabs. So you may have 10 or 15 tabs to organize things. And there's two very important things you should do with this documentation. One, you should start a journal right away to your children. Tell them what you're going through and tell them what's happening with CPS and so forth. The journal, you'll give it to your children when you get out of this matter, when you're there, or something happened to you. They can read your words. They can read your words. I know it's hard to write a journal. There was a TV show called Doogie Howser, MD, and Doogie every night would type into computer a journal what happened during the day. I think it's good that people do journals. You can do it on your computer, on your phone, or get a piece of paper and jot some notes down. Um, okay. Right now, we have about 15 minutes left before my show will be over. It's 10:52. I have to end my show at 11 o'clock. I have to end my live stream at 11 o'clock. So I just was talking about Rule 2, the documentation. And I said about the journal. Well, the second one is called a time log or a timeline incident log. A timeline incident log. It's where you list every incident and you separate it with 3 lines on a piece of notebook paper. Line number 1 is you put the date and time of the incident and whether you called in, list the phone number, or whether you visit this, whatever the address is, put the address. Then put the list of people involved, all the people involved with that first incident. Then the second line is a summary of what the incident's all about. Like you met at social service and talked about your unification plan or steps you talked about getting your children into relatives to stay with relatives instead of in foster care. So anyway, you put a summary of what the incident was about on the second line. Then the third line is a summary of the outcome of the incident. So if the incident is finished, you put the summary. Again, it's a summary. You don't have to be very specific about it. And then what you do is you go to the next incident. You want to skip a space and then create your next incident and next incident and next incident. And if you don't have what filing took place yet, then leave it blank and come back and fill it in later. But that journal is something that you can give to your kids or something ever happened to you or use in a court to recollect about something. Now, this incident form will be for every incident, whether it's an incident with the school district, whether it with social workers, with the police, with a neighbor, with a relative, or with your children. You record it all. So it's a documentary of your case. You'll need that in court because the social workers will fight against you. The CPS worker, the child protection system workers, will work against you. They're going to lie and they're going to try to cheat and stuff. They're very corrupt. I'm telling you from experience, you got to be careful of who you get and be a good listener. Okay. This journal incident or put in a notebook. You also put in your um, classes, your classes you take in parenting classes. Go in there. The certificates. Then you want to put your certificates of programs, like you may have a drug rehab program, or you may have a domestic violence program. You put the certificates in there. And again, when it's wet signature certificates or things, always put the copies. Don't put the originals. Keep the originals separate because you're going to. I would do with the originals to put them in little folders and label them, and that way you have them all there arranged by date, and that way you keep track of them. That way you can keep track of them. So it is very important with your documentation. You may also want to have your court papers, and there's several types of court papers. There's gets the one issued by the judge, one is issued by the social worker, maybe one's issued by the police. Anyway, you want to put them in separate, index them separately, range them by the oldest date at the lowest, the newest date on top, so you can thumb through it. Because you're not going to know 6 months from now where you at on that case unless you have people to talk to. Now, reading through my notes now, we want to move on to my number three subject, which is you do not want to talk to social workers. You do not want to talk to police. You don't want to let them in your home. And we all make the mistake. I did, and everybody I've talked to here makes the same mistake. You think you can trust them. You have to recognize that the police and the social workers, you don't know them. And if you did know them, it'd be a different story. But you should only allow people you know in your home. And you should tell your own family members never let in strangers. That's taught at an early age. That's one of the life skills that's taught at an early age is that you do not talk to strangers. And once they're in your home, they're going to look around. So that's why you don't want to let them in. Once you start talking to them, they're going to take notes. If you encountered a social worker or the police outside of your home, you're not in the home, then ask them if this is a legal matter when they identify themselves. If they say yes, you tell them very nicely, that's great. I need to get my attorney involved. I need to be fully representative because this is a matter for the court. So that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. And they'll respect you and they'll ease off on you. If you try to fight them or tell them wrong or make up, all you have to do if you see them outside is tell them it's a pleasure meeting you, but I have to have my attorney present if this is a criminal matter. So all you do is then you contact your criminal for that. Um, so if they do come in your home and you let them in, or when your family members in, then you got to deal with it. You can ask them to leave unless they have a warrant. Now, a warrant is a legal document that's issued in court. It's got to be a legit document because CPS will use old ones and they will copy and change the dates. The easy way to see if that's a legal document, look for the wet signature by the judge that has a stamp, meaning that they put a stamp through a signature that raises the letters. So it's a rough feel to your fingers. Anyway, it's got to be stamped by the judge. They have to get a judge to issue that. And judges do not work on weekends or court holidays during the week. So if it is one of those, that dates are bogus. Now, I want you to know that another way they can get in your home, besides you letting them in, or have a warrant. And that guy, but besides the wet signature, it's got to have the proper date and it's got to address the situation. It's got to say who is being asked to do what and what they're asked to do what. It's supposed to list the children's name. It should say you're charged with negligence or abuse and you need to turn your child over. Now, if your child's in the home and you let them in, don't let them take your child. They're going to try to take it. Their MO, whether they're in danger or not, they'll take the children, which is wrong. They shouldn't take the children unless it's necessary to do it. Anyway, um, that warrant, if it's legit, you'll know. And then you do what's on that warrant. But they have no warrant and you didn't allow them in, they won't be they'll leave you alone. They will come in if a child's screaming or being hurt. If they hear crying going on, they're going to break the door down. So you want to open the door because they can enter if a child's in danger. But what they did do, like say your children are sleeping upstairs, they're going to think they're in danger, so they're going to demand the children because they want to start making money. As soon as the children in custody, they take out a number in the county and they start getting $20,000 to $30,000 per month for that child to be taken care of. It's a money thing, and it does not take 20 to 30,000 to take care of a child. My notes further say that you should not relinquish your child unless they're in danger. You tell them, is my child in danger? How is my child in danger? But whatever you do, don't be combative. You already let them in the home, that's the first mistake. And you're already talking to them, that's your second mistake. And when you turn over the child, that's your third mistake. Because right away, they'll traffic them and put them into foster care and try to get them adopted. There's a federal incentive of $35,000 for every child that's adopted into foster care. That was mandated by President Clinton, signed into law in 1997 for that to take place because they felt it was taking too long for adoption. I mean, too long for um, reunification. So they want to go with the adoption. Sad part about it is adoption, you don't know the quality of adoption it is. A lot of people freelance, a lot of the adoptions, children are abused or hurt in there. So you got to be careful. You really got to be careful out there. So hopefully your child's okay. Right away, you want to get an attorney when this gets involved. You'll probably see a notice on the door. Because my best advice is you keep quiet, hide the children, don't make any sound, and they'll go away. They'll go away. But I've seen too many videos of the police rough handling a mother, put her in handcuffs, go upstairs, take the sleeping children. It's so bad. It's so bad what they do. Also, there's a mistake. And when you answer the door, I've heard too many stories of people being shot and killed right away when they open the door. So there's lots of reasons you don't open the door. You don't open the door to police or social workers. You don't open the door to strangers that could shoot you. You don't know who's out there running in the neighborhood. And you have to be really careful in today's society. It really has to be careful. Now, a part of this rule number 3 is what I call medical trafficking. There's two types. There's one, your child is hurting, so you take them into urgent care. And what's happened is that a social worker works in that hospital. And okay, from my notes now, we move on to this medical trafficking. Now, if you come to urgent care, you'll be surprised. There'll be a social worker working there and they're listening. They're listening to you maybe refuse medical help or something like that. And I'm so glad to see you, Laura Theme. And I'm not an attorney, but thank you. We have had an active case since November 20th. My daughter has been removed twice, 16 years of age. Life has been ruined. What part of the world are you from, Laura? I want to help you. Hello, Bartley. Laura, I'm so sorry for what you're going through. Bartley is from Montana. She has her son taken away from her, but she's going to get her son back. She has a court date coming up. And you're from Irvine, California, Laura. So you are in the Orange County Child Protection Services. That's a bad county, and they're very corrupt. And your daughter was taken November 20th. How old is your daughter now? How old is your daughter? Okay, I just looked at the clock. It's 11 o'clock now. It's a little after 11, so I have to end my live stream. 16 going on 17. Well, you can call me tonight at 7 p.m. tonight. That is California time. 7 p.m. For you in Montana, it's Mountain Time. It's 1 hour ahead of me. For you in Central California, like Texas, it's 2 hours. For you that are in North Carolina, it's 3 hours East Coast time. In England, it is 8 hours ahead. And in France, it's 9 hours ahead. And Africa, it's 9 hours ahead. So you can call me tonight. I'll be available for phone calls at 7 p.m. I'd love to hear from you, Laura. and we can talk about your case and help you through it. I will work on it as much as it takes. If it takes a week, I'll work on it. I'll work on your case during my 2 hours a day. I only have 2 hours a day I can help you. But I take it on first come, first serve, Laura. So we have Laura from Irvine, California. And she has a terrible case about her daughter who's 16 going on 17. One more year, she'll be 18, and you don't have to deal with them having your daughter because she'll be returned. So we have that. Bartley is coming up there with your case. I'm glad to hear from you. A week ago, Bartley had a great time with her son with a bath she gave him and had a good visitation. So I want to thank Laura from Irvine, Bartley from Montana. By the way, Laura from Irvine, California, and Bartley from Montana. Thank you so much. I want to thank the thumbs up from West Bradley. That was really great. Yes, I know they steal children. You know, they do trafficking, which is illegal. If anybody else does trafficking, they're punished. But CPS gets away with it. It's sad, but it's true. But I can tell you how to avoid it and how to be careful and how to get your child back. So again, I'll be on at 7 o'clock tonight. That's 7 p.m. I know it's Friday night football, but the team that I follow has a bye this week. So I'll be here at 7 o'clock to help you with your case. And I do care. I do care. I care about all of you. I care about my regulars. And I pray that Bartley gets good results in court. And as I get to know people, I bring them into my family. So there'll be a short video at the end of my live stream. Please watch it. It's a good video, it puts you in good spirits, and it's about Vincent Davis a little bit about there. But it's really good. Now remember, do not give up on your children. Always fight for them. Do not give up. And come here for support and help. I will help you. Now, I did talk about my 3 of my 5 rules. My other rules I've talked about on other recorded podcasts. Not podcasts, I'm sorry, live stream. This is not a podcast, this is a live stream. So, well, until we hear the story, we're not making decisions who we take on. Vincent is available. Vincent is the attorney. He is available. But in order to talk about pricing and everything, we need to know about your case. Because the price deals with the complexity and how long the case has been going on. But we can help you out there. So thank you all for being here, for being supportive, for the emojis, for the text messages. And I hope you make me a lot more messages tonight and I can help you. I look forward to seeing Laura again and Bartley, who's part of my family again. And anybody else that's part of my family, I look for them tonight. So God bless you all. And you have a wonderful day.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted, and if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last ones left. Put your faith